I think it's very, very important that all our listeners here, we're going to address things in the coming year, and 90% of the time, maybe more than that, maybe
Yeah.
100%, it's about building people.
Well, that's
Because
the point of the
people,
show.
right, to last. Whether it be in
Manhood. Sorry, go ahead.
in their marriages, whether it be in their own personal walk with God, whether it be in their business, whatever it may be. And honestly, folks, it's hard.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
Hello and welcome to Wehry Dads. I'm your host, Pete Wehry, with my co-host,
Dad.
that's Pete Wehry,
Yep,
defender of the faith, guardian of goodness.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about our theme for 2022. I'm really excited about this. We wanted to find something that incorporated what we've shared before with what our words are for the year. So for me, that's roots. That's focusing on the past, and then I'm building a good base to build from in the future, to grow from in the future. Coach, what's your word for this upcoming year?
2022 is invest. I would love to invest in my walk with God, invest in my marriage, invest in my family, invest in nations of coaches, invest in other relationships, and even as I prepare, in less than 7 days, I turn 60. So we need to continue to look at investing for the future financially, which is hard for me to even verbalize because I can't see myself. It's not that I don't want to work. There are days I don't want to work. I would rather just be together with family, aka investing in them. But I think it's my purpose, to invest in people. So invest is my big time word, 2022.
So we were trying to find a theme that incorporated both of those things.
For sure.
And what we settled on is build to last. Build
to last. We could not afford to call it built to last.
And honestly, we chose that apart from any consideration. We're not truck guys at all. So
I want to be a truck guy though, and
that's true. That's
true. I would love an F-150 and folks, this is not it is my birthday. I would love a Ram 1500 or F-150, but I'm thankful to God for a really good Toyota Highlander, but we only have one vehicle. So if God impresses upon your heart.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But build to last was, we were throwing out 4 or 5, whatever, more than that idea.
Oh yeah. It was like 2030. We did the whole brainstorming thing. So the idea with build to last is to dwell on that, on roots, and to look at investing. We kind of want to create that, not catchphrase, but that returning point for each of our episodes, that what we're building is for the long haul.
Yeah.
And when we challenge you to grow, even as we challenge each other to grow, we challenge ourselves to grow. We're not just looking for the quick and easy buck. We're looking at, or the quick and easy fix. We're looking at creating long-term, lasting solutions, but even more systems of growth.
So it's really interesting you're saying that, because everything that's happens quick and easy usually falls apart quick and easy. Things that are attempted to be built in such a way that they will last, those things which are eternal, those things which are everlasting, things that matter, that takes hard work. Your mom often says this, and she does it whenever we're doing marriage counseling and so forth, but it's really true. You got some building blocks in your life, things that really matter. Okay. Your family, your walk with God, investing in other people. You're talking about roots. So the roots of home, the roots of a marriage, the roots of relationships, all those different things. But you have those bricks, but what holds it together is the mortar. And those mortar are usually times where you are mixing and fighting. You got to mix that mortar. It's not an easy process. And anything that is going to later on, as you are trying to build to last, anything you do that will be a process, and it'll be hard.
Yes.
And yet we all know this. It is through the hard that good things come about.
Yes, I love the idea of, I constantly return to vision. That's I feel like God has gifted me as being the kind of a vision type guy, and that's a big part of this too. Like there is that we've talked a lot, and I really love it that we talk about the daily grind, the creating good habits that push you towards a vision of the future. So there's execution and there's vision, and I think that's a big part of all of this is that we are looking to not only the future, but to what really matters. So some of the things that when we talk about build to last, what are we talking about? Obviously, you mentioned finances. Part of this is seeing ourselves as something bigger. So I want to leave something to my sons, and so finance is a part of that. But I think more importantly, and this is something that I've definitely gotten from you, and in a lot of ways I've gotten from Grandpa,
Hmm.
are values and um, character and good family habits.
Mm.
For those of you who don't know, my grandpa uh, seems that his first wife was mentally unwell. Like when he talks about some of the stories that went on, and so she divorced him. He was trying to make it work, and then he married my grandma, and they have stayed together for over 50 years, and that's an incredible thing. And when you look at the generations that have come after, the majority of them have followed in those footsteps where they have solid marriages, solid families. And whether you're a
Not
Christian,
easy either. I
right?
mean, blending two different families was very, very difficult. Um,
Literal Brady Bunch, right?
oh yeah, I mean, if my sister Kathy had been a boy, it would have been the same age as like Brady Bunch, and there was a lot of challenges that I'm going to say this that my parents went through, that we as kids went through. I especially think it was harder on my stepsisters because they had some challenges of leaving their friends on the weekends and coming down to be with us, and that was not always easy. I mean, and yet I think look at my sisters. I think some of that required a lot of maturing and growth that I didn't get. I'm
Mm.
very thankful for them doing that.
And I think this kind of leads into what I want to say is my grandpa is not a perfect man, and he didn't handle that whole situation perfectly, but he was faithful.
Mhm.
And I think in a lot of ways he did what he needed to do. Did he always handle everything correctly? Does he always handle everything correctly now? No, because nobody does. And so what I want to
I'm not
talk
even
about,
jumping in here on all of this
yeah,
because he still can hear.
yeah, I know, I know. Well, I want it like there's a reason I brought that up specifically when I talk about roots for this upcoming year, and we talk about building to last. Um, I think we have to set ourselves in order. So one of that, that when I talk about building a good foundation, a good base for systems moving forward, for growth, for that idea of like you have to plant in order to sow. That's all important, but we're not just planting our own harvest. We are part of, in many ways, a larger tree. We're part we're abiding in the vine of Christ. And so when I look at my grandpa and when I look at roots, it's very important to me to take what I have been given to prune and cultivate. I see a lot of people, and there's a lot of work, and I think a lot of it's good of deconstructing or looking at our history and saying, you know what, we did mess up. But what we can't do is just cut ourselves off entirely from history. What we need to do is we need to look at history and take the good that we've been given, and this includes personally and communally. And we need to prune what's bad. Say, that was wrong. Let's not keep that as part of ourselves, and cultivate what was good from the past. And that's what when I look at my grandpa's faithfulness, and I look at his homespun wisdom and his honesty and candor. These are all things that I see in myself that I want to grow.
Hmm. Yeah. So as I'm listening to you, and hearing what you're saying about that, I often think about the importance that each of us has to look in the mirror, James chapter 1, where we're willing to look in the mirror, see some things that we don't like and that we do like, and make adjustments. But the truth is, it goes back to what is the end goal? What's the basis? And you can't be all about goals without then taking a 10-year plan, whatever it may be, 20-year plan, you go backwards. And then you have to, and this is why I actually have done some videos, sent them to you today about the importance of clarity. I have a clarity day once a month and a
Mm.
clarity. I'll take one day, actually next Monday, the day after my birthday, and I will go away, get to a hotel, probably not sit in the room, but go out to the lobby or find some place and say, where am I at for the year? Because where am I going to be in 10 years? And then what do I need to do every day to reach those yearly um, pinpoints that we want to get to, aka whether it be increasing our investment in finances. But that's the last one. It's really my increasing in my walk with God, my increasing my walk with my wife, improving all those things. And then what you're talking about, roots, those the companies do this.
Mm.
Mission statement, okay, vision statement, and then what are your core values?
Mm.
So when I even go talk to college basketball teams, I often find out what their core values are, and I'll speak on one of those. In fact, I speak to a team probably, almost every other week, whatever. At certain times it's every week, and
Yeah.
then there's some breaks. But every time I speak at one of their core values. Because every character trait will come back to a core value, whether it be integrity or humility. One of theirs is grit. And I
Mm.
think even as we're talking about building a foundation,
Building to last. Yeah.
yeah, you better have some grit because there are going to be days that it's hard to build. Okay, perfect example for that is we are living in a new home.
Mm.
It's a new build.
Mm.
Okay. And there were things that needed to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
they didn't do as well as they probably should have. And they are.
They're fixing it. Yeah.
But all around us right now are builds.
Yes.
We see them
New
every
construction.
day.
Yep.
And you see the importance of the foundation and then the edifice of the walls. And then they put the roof on. Then they shingle the roof. And as I'm saying all that, sometimes we've seen these guys on the roof roofing it in August.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard,
Yeah.
but it's building to last.
Yes.
So, when you talk about building to last in all the areas that we're going to address, whatever they may be this year, there's hard work, there's determination, there's honesty,
Mm.
because you have to take an honest look. There's humility because you may need to be broken down a little bit. Um, there'll be the importance of having character and being a person of integrity. So, I don't know how you feel about even all the things we've already addressed, but those I think are just really almost the crux, the fulcrum of the matter to find
Yes.
balance.
Yes, and I think, like, what's the point of build to last? It's that we are building, like, this generational living, that we are giving to our sons, that we are taking care of our parents, that
Mm-hmm.
we see ourselves as part of this community, and recognizing that we have to build ourselves personally as well. And what really, when you talk about what's most important, I think of that C.S. Lewis quote, and I'm not going to try and say it because I'm going to butcher it. But when he talks about every person that you meet is an immortal,
Mm-hmm.
every person you meet has is
Eternal value.
eternal value.
Yeah.
And so when we talk about build to last, that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can build a business and you can build something that will last for 100, 150 years, and it just pales in comparison.
It certainly does. Because here's the thing. I'm going to say something, and I want you to know, how many times did you ever go to Woolworths?
Yeah.
Do you know what Woolworths is?
I remember you talking about it. Yeah.
Well, I don't even know. I've thought, but Woolworths was like the store in the 60s and 70s. People went to Woolworths. Nobody does. And I just saw a list yesterday of 100 restaurants that are looking to potentially close.
Right.
And it's not just because of the pandemic, but they'll often run their course. Okay. And like ones that'll shock people are Applebee's, Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, 20 years ago, Buffalo Wild Wings, man, I'm going to get in there because they got all the what games, and then I'll get my wings and so forth. Now you can get the games where
At home.
you don't need Buffalo Wild Wings. You just bring the wings home. You stop, I mean, there's just this because businesses and buildings
Yeah.
and houses don't last.
Not as much as people do, because
No.
people, and that we're obviously coming from a Christian perspective, like people have eternal weight. They are going to continue forever. And that's a heavy thing. And you start to realize, I mean, I feel this all the time. I'm looking for efficiency in our business, and I'm looking for profit because there's fear, right? You don't want it to go under, all these
Mm,
things. And I get worried about the business. And then I'm like, the most important thing I'm doing is providing for the people under me and for my family,
mhm.
and how I treat and grow those people. That's why we do the personal. We go through a book together as in our little company, and that book is focused on personal growth.
Yeah, it's
Because
gotta be
if
'cause
Candid Goat died tomorrow, I could still be happy knowing that. And I have seen it. I've seen personal growth in the people I work with.
that's
I've
a
seen
real
personal
plus, man.
growth in my own.
Right, no,
Yeah, like
that's
it's not just that.
right. You're not just saying, "Oh, they grew." Man, they needed to grow. You need to grow.
Yeah,
Your wife is part of it. She's growing. It's interesting to me that you brought up an apologist. In my opinion, that's what he is. C.S. Lewis. I mean, he was a thinker. He was, and another one, G.K. Chesterton said, and it's one of my favorite quotes. One of the greatest truths of Scripture is, "You matter, I matter, we all matter."
yeah,
So, and the reason they are is because back to what Lewis said is
yeah.
because we're all what,
We're all immortal.
right? And so I think it's very, very important that all our listeners here, we're going to address things in the coming year, and 90% of the time, maybe more than that, maybe
Yeah.
100%, it's about building people
Well, that's
because
the point of the
people,
show.
right, to last, whether it be in
Manhood. Sorry, go ahead.
in their marriages, whether it be in their own
Mm,
personal walk with God, whether it be in their business, whatever it may be. And honestly, folks, it's hard.
yeah.
So buckle up.
Yeah.
We might even talk about some hard things,
Yeah.
you know? And I'm not going to go there, but one of the things, I'm on a health journey.
Mm,
And we often talk about people that are addicted to numerous things, whether it be um, alcohol or drugs or pornography. But nobody talks about, in the Christian circle, at least where I came from, the addiction to sugar.
mm, mm.
Okay. Okay. Got to have my food and my, well, whatever it may be, we did not do a good job in the 70s and 80s addressing, maybe somewhat unaware. I felt like I was unaware, that it was maybe calories, but not the kind of calories you're eating.
Yeah.
And so all this stuff is hard.
Yes.
So but hard things allow us to be able to build to last.
And that's, I think, I love the reason I love this theme, and I love the way that, for me, it's centering around people last. People are immortal, and people are of value, because that really reflects what I think we've both always wanted for this show: manhood, mentoring, and maturity. The goal is to, it's about people, about bringing people to what their calling is, what their purpose is. And that's why we're here, whether it's as dads talking about how to train up your children the way they should go, or husbands. And hopefully it's just, there's a lot of good stuff just about interpersonal relationships, so that anyone who listens has something to gain from this. I mean, obviously that's our focus. We're weary dads, but uh, I hope that the universal truths of Scripture come through in how we apply, even as we apply things.
So one of our listeners said to your mom yesterday that we need to do one on marriage, just on relationships and so forth. And probably we'll have to get all four microphones booming that day because it'll be imperative to hear from Becky, your wife, as well as I want to say mom because that's what she is to you, but Lisa, my wife. But it's real. There's so many different areas that need to be challenged in those relationships. But people are crying out for this too
Mm,
because they understand, those that especially are of faith go, man, this is all that really lasts and matters. And I know people that have a lot of resources and a lot of pluses in their life, but their relationships with their loved ones, aka marriage, um, children, family, are tainted, and it's not a good place.
Yeah, I think money can help you uh, with your joy. It can help you with your happiness because it can relieve some stress. But at the end of the day, that's not the foundation of it.
No,
That's
it'll
not the foundation
no,
of your
it,
joy.
it'll end up being fluff. I mean, the next thing, and you know, it's the truth of life. What do you think? You think Build to Last is going to happen?
Oh, I'm really excited about this year. We're actually planning on creating some t-shirts, probably who knows, maybe some hats, but we'll do a giveaway on social. You guys can get
Now,
that.
now I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yes. Yeah.
That's not immortal, but it's close.
But it's the collectible
Yeah.
build to last t-shirt. Oh, awesome. And I think that, that's really, I'm excited 'cause obviously I'm going to wear that. And that for me, that's just a reminder. That's how I look at my t-shirts in a lot of ways. I'm wearing the light wins from Nations of Coaches. It's not just about it being our merch or whatever. It's about like, when I see that, I think like, okay, that's right. Light wins. I don't have to be darkness.
Well, this isn't a plug, but I'm wearing Nike, which is victory, which we have in Christ. So
And there
I
you
can wait.
go. You want that Nike sponsorship?
I wonder what Under Armour has. Any spiritual? No, all good.
Awesome. All right. Appreciate you.
Build to last, folks. That's our dream. That's our prayer for you guys as we continue this venture of podcasting, Weary Dads, mentoring manhood and maturity. Y'all be blessed. Thank you.